My name is Adiya Atuluku, and I did my undergrad in University of Abuja, where I studied mathematics. And that was where I actually met the two friends who I am now starting a business with. I've always had this idea of creating something, but then I went into work. I started consulting in work, first environmental and then management. But at some point, my life was just all about work, work, work. And I said, okay, how can I express myself a bit more creatively? Especially as I like creative arts and crafts, especially when it comes to Africa. And so I started a blog. At that time, I think it was around 2012. The blogging thing was coming up, There was WordPress, Blogger, and all that. And I just started writing about the things I saw and I liked with regards to African arts and crafts. And it sort of kept getting a bit more and more serious. So the whole point of the blog actually was to showcase African arts and crafts. And I would see something I liked made by someone and maybe just interview them or put up pictures and just write about it. And I was getting a lot of good feedback then. And my two friends too were very, very encouraging. And at some point in, I think, early 2012, I had the thought of, okay, how do I take this further, especially as I was getting so much good feedback. And the African arts industry was actually getting better at that time. And I did a survey with my blog readers and found out that there's a gap, for where they can buy authentic African arts and crafts from. As in, there's no actual place where they can go to, especially if they are not especially if they are not in Nigeria. Where can they go to find authentic crafts that are made by artisans in Nigeria? And that's where I got the idea of starting a marketplace where we could connect those two people who are my typical blog readers who are interested in buying arts and crafts, and people who are not necessarily online but who are really talented and who express themselves by creating arts and crafts that have an African spin. Fortunately, around the time when we were deciding to start it, Tony Elumelu was doing their first funding program. And so we just applied a bit unseriously and we got it and we're like, oh, okay, this thing is getting a bit real, So they assigned a mentor and she guided us a lot through the planning and the business plan, putting up the business plan. And so it just took off in December. By December, we had launched our initial, what I'm going to call like a test pilot of the initial platform where artisans would put up their products and then would market to buyers to sell. When I bounced this idea and also the results of the survey off my friends, they were really interested in going into it with me. Three of us have co-founded News Origins. Adiya, I'm good at project management. Frances is very good at technology and computer and coding. And Thelma is very good at marketing and business development. And we're actually friends way back from school, but then we've decided to to create this thing together because we all love African arts and crafts and we all believe in creating something in Nigeria and we all believe in the model of opening access to artisans in Nigeria to a global audience. And so we're working on this together and I believe that our strengths complement each other very well. Right now, we've published our first version, our minimum viable product, the first version of our platform. So what the platform does is gives each artisan their own store. So they have their own URL, and when you go to their page, you see a picture of them, you see what they're about, a description, and then you see the products that they have, the descriptions and all. And we've done it in such a way that the artisans have good control over their shop. They can go upload by themselves, edit. They see when something has been bought, when something has been delivered. It's just for quality assurance. Whenever they make changes, we now approve those changes on their end before it's published. So they have a lot of control over it. And what we are trying to concentrate on right now is getting as much people as possible on the store. And at first, we were, well, that's what we're still doing also. We go where they are and tell them, hey, this is the product we have. Come on board, these are the benefits. But we're also tweaking the model a little bit because we found that doing that is a bit slow. Nigerian, maybe because they are not used to the concept, so we have to give a lot of time between talking to them and them going on the store. There's a lot of time in between, and a lot of convincing has to happen. And so we're saying, okay, we're also getting help from other people like freelancers, which in a way is an employment, to say, okay, go into where these people are, where they are selling their wares, and bring them on the store. And we're also looking at how we can talk to associations, if there are groups of them in an art and crafts village. We go and talk to the associations and say, okay, help us show people the benefits of this. And we're also looking for ways we can talk to groups of people, to at least start the conversation on a bigger level before we now start talking individually. So that's what we're doing right now, making sure that the artisans are aware of our products and come on board. When we've done that, we will now concentrate on the buyer side of it because it's kind of a circle. Sellers need to be on the side for buyers to come. But at the same time, buyers need to be on the side to encourage sellers to come on board to make sure that they know they are going to sell their products. But for now, that's what we are doing, getting people, getting our idea out there and getting the artisans to know that this service is available. Because we have two markets, our buyers and our sellers, we see that what's working for us in both sides are quite different. On the buyer side, what's working for us? One, the blog is actually working for us because it has a lot of readership already and people like it, and it's a good way to link to the market. So, and also social media is working very well, particularly Twitter and Instagram are working very well to bring in people who are potential buyers. And on the seller side, we see what is working best is a one-on-one interaction with the sellers. At first, we didn't even anticipate that we would have to have so many, we would have to talk to them as much as we see that we are. But that's what's working. The sellers want to actually see you, meet you several times, and talk to you and get the assurances that both of you are in this together to sell their product. So those two are what's working, social media and the blog for the buyers and one-on-one interaction for the sellers. In expanding, what we are looking at is events, working with associations like British Council, the associations of art and craft villages, Nigerian organizations who deal in arts and crafts. We're looking at working with them to expand better, to have events that bring artisans together in one place, even offline, and then from there we take them online as well. And also, we're looking at getting a lot of funding for marketing. That's where we anticipate our funding is going to be, marketing to buyers to make sure that our target market is particularly Nigeria, US, and the UK for now. So really marketing to them to say that, okay, this is our stop shop for Nigerian arts and crafts. And thirdly, we're looking at expanding on the platform itself. I've talked about the platform being the version 1, but we need to make it a lot better, a lot more interactive, a place where it's a community where the buyers can even converse, together and converse with the sellers. And so making that whole, bringing the blog together and the marketplace together as a community of buyers and sellers, of lovers of African arts and crafts. So that's our plan for expansion. Given that, yes, we're an arts and crafts business, but we're also a technology business, and our business is online. So at first we thought we would have a lot of online interactions and at least a lot of calling. But our experience is bringing these sellers in, there's a lot of legwork. Even if your business is online in Nigeria, you would have to have a lot of legwork. And also some artisans we're meeting, we actually have to, even though we've made it in such a way that they can upload, they can work on the site themselves, we see that at first, at least, we actually have to show them how to do it. There's a lot of tutorial that goes into it, working with them, in fact, sitting with them and uploading their pictures together, at least at first. So we're saying that in Nigeria, even if you have an online platform, even if your business is online, you have to do a lot of face-to-face, and you have to do a lot of talking. And my advice for someone going into the tech industry is to understand that even though the people you may interact with, you may think that they are very good at technology, at using social media, at using computers. But depending on who you're working with, you also have to understand that a lot of Nigeria isn't really like that. A lot of people haven't really caught on to technology as much as we think they have. And so putting yourself in a teacher kind of role, putting yourself as someone who is introducing other people into tech is necessary if you want to grow your business. I have two main advice for people who are going into business for the first time. One is to make sure that they get a mentor, someone who is in the space, someone who has dealt with, people bringing up businesses for the first time, because you really can't put a price on good advice. So that person is going to, guide you, and it's priceless, really, getting a mentor that knows what they are talking about. And the second thing is to have a plan, but also still be ready to be flexible and change your model as you're going, because you don't know everything before you start. But when you're starting and you're interacting with your clients or your sellers and your buyers, you need to be able to tweak your model based on what you see is happening on ground. So those are the two main things: mentor and have a plan, but a flexible plan. If you're an entrepreneur in Nigeria and Africa in general, I advise you to visit enterprisecitadel.com. It's a community of entrepreneurs. You get to showcase your business for free, and you get to see what other people are doing and take opportunity of the services they're providing. Thank you.